Hello my friends, today we are canning. I don't know what I'm saying. Hello my friends and welcome back to The Air Effect. My name is Christina and I run this channel because I like vintage clothes, I like old books, and I want to live a practical vintage lifestyle. I have wanted to share some canning with all of you for quite a while. I actually have a few old videos I think that are about canning on my channel. They are very old and I need to redo them, but I knew that this year I really wanted to share at least making things out of our apples because we have like 5 apple trees and there are many things that you can make and can with apples, but I also wanted to make some things with peaches and pears because we also have all of those on our property, and I was hoping to share making something out of blackberries as well. However, we can't find a very good place to pick here. A lot of the popular places to pick are already picked over. We really didn't find a lot of blackberries, so I do have some blackberry picking footage that I might put in alongside all of the other foraging-ish content. But for now, today I'm going to share with you canning peaches, plums, apples, and pears. I have about 130 pounds of fruit to process. It's going to be a several-day process, so of course, the day that I'm filming this intro is the day that I'm going to tackle the peaches and possibly the plums. That's the majority of what I have. The pears can ripen a few days, the apples will keep. I'm going to start with the peaches because that's like the biggest quantity that I have. It should be a smooth process, however I've never done it by myself before, so I'm taking you along on this journey. This is not by any means a how to can by yourself tutorial, but I really wanted to introduce some more like slow living, sustainable living, kind of cottagecore farm life type videos, and this is a part of it. I'm gonna get started because I have been delaying this process long enough, and I hope you enjoy it. I have mentioned before on my channel that I am very interested in foraging. Last year, while we were exploring our town, we noticed a plethora of blackberry bushes and plum trees growing alongside the paved walkway through our local park, and this year we set out to see how much we could find. While the blackberries were mostly picked over, the plums were in full swing, and with a bit of work I was able to reach quite a few. Most of the plums fall to waste along this trail because the trees grow above the brambles, deterring casual passersby from reaching them. I, however, was very determined to get to the bounty of fruit, and made myself a small path up the hill through the brambles to reach one particular tree that held hundreds of plums. The blackberries, meanwhile, were mostly eaten, which is okay. We will find more later. Next, I tackled picking from our orchard. The peach tree sits just on the other side of our fence and technically belongs to our neighbors, but we have all been sharing our fruit with each other. They gave me permission to pick my fill of peaches, and I in turn gave them full reign of the pears I couldn't reach myself. It's been a bountiful year of fruit for us both, and we still have at least 5 apple trees to share between us as they ripen. Most of my canning jars are in the dark abyss of this very deep area, and I'm a little afraid because I know there are spider webs back there and there could be large spiders in the jars. Woo, but into the darkness we go. It's those ones that I'm scared of. I don't see any spiders, but that doesn't mean there aren't any spiders. Well, we are happily fully spider-free. That was an adventure, like a nightmare. But let's keep going. Before canning, I of course had to find all of my jars and then wash them and sanitize them. I have them in so many different places in my cupboards, I wasn't sure how many I'd had until I'd fished them all out. After washing, I dried them and batch by batch, as you will see, kept jars in the oven set to 170 degrees Fahrenheit to remain hot while I prepared the fruit. This helps to sanitize the jars and prevents them from cracking when hot liquids are poured in or they are added to the water bath for canning. Okay, so everything is washed, and I think that the next step is to prepare the peaches, and I also need to sterilize the jar lids. I have 22 regular mouth jars and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 19 wide mouth jars. I'm not too worried if I use up all the jars. I really don't know how much this is going to make. So if I use up all the jars, I noticed at my local thrift store they have several things of mason jars. I will likely just go thrift more jars so that I can process the rest of my fruit. I do want to retain a few of the jam jars for the plums because I don't think the plums is going to make that much. So one thing to note about canning is that you can reuse jars, and you can reuse the jar rings, which is this part, but these jar lids are not reusable because once you have canned with them once, the seal will no longer seal. So you always have to have new jar lids. I couldn't find any in any stores. I think everybody's canning right now, so it's all sold out. So I had to order mine on Amazon, and I ordered 24 wide mouth, which is these big mason jars, and then 24 regular mouth, which is the smaller ones. We're gonna see what we can make. I don't have 48 jars. I have 19 plus 22. So all of that said, it's time to get sorting with some peaches. The first step in canning is supposed to be separating the peaches out into different categories of size and ripeness. Eventually, I got kind of tired of sorting and just dove right into trying to shock the skins off. This is a process where you first boil your peaches in hot water and then dunk them in cold water. The heat will loosen the skin and the cold water will shrink the peaches so that it should peel right off. In theory, it's a great practice, but I've never done it myself before, so I did run into a few snags. Namely, I didn't boil the peaches long enough, and I didn't have any ice for my water. Okay, so the problem I'm encountering is that either some of these peaches are not quite ripe enough to peel the skin off, or the water is not cold enough to shock them to peel the skin off, because I don't have any ice. I am operating with some ice packs and very cold water from the sink. So I'm trying to choose the ripest peaches to see if perhaps they're just not ripe enough to really peel easily, and if that's the case, I will be letting a batch of peaches ripen over the next week or so to continue my canning. If it's just that the water's not cold enough, then I will have to postpone a lot of the canning day and have my husband bring home ice so that I can continue this tomorrow. The peaches that I did manage to skin, I put into jars and covered with No. 2 syrup, which is 2 parts of water to 1 part sugar, boiled. Then process them in the hot water bath canner for 20 minutes. You will see later that I did learn to pack my jars much more tightly than I did this first time. But they'll still be good, and we will just try to eat through these looser packed jars first. Okay, so it is the end of canning day 1. I got 5 jars done. I'm tired. This is a tiring process. With jam, the book says that I don't have to water bath can them, which would be nice. It would make the process a whole lot quicker, but I'm going to consult with my mother and make sure that's true, because I don't want to make a bunch of jam and then have it all go bad. So this is going to be a several day process, which I already said. And this is the end of day 1. But I have 5 beautiful jars of peaches for the winter, so that's good. I don't really know how many jars of peaches I'm gonna make, because I do really want some jam. And I also really want to make pie fillings. So yeah, that's day 1. I still have plums. That's the other thing. I need to do the plums quite soon, because I don't want them to go bad. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I'll switch over to plums. I don't know that I have to do a hot water bath for plums, but if I do, I will do it. I think tomorrow's process is going to be more like maybe get everything into jars before I worry about having the big canning pot, because it is really big. It takes forever to boil anything, and the whole kitchen is hot now. So it's just a lot of work. It's a lot for a smaller kitchen. I don't have a lot of counter space by the stove, which is a problem. So yeah, that's it for day 1. I will see you tomorrow. Morning. It is day 2 and it is jam day. I'm just going to make a lot of jam. The nice thing about jam is you don't have to do a hot water bath canner. You flip them upside down for about 15 minutes and then you turn them over and they will seal themselves. And jam is put into hot jars, so you have hot jam, hot jars, a hot seal. As long as it seals, they will be good for a long time. And jam is also just a lot of boiling. I'm going to make plum butter. I think I will also make apple butter today because that's really easy. So today is just going to be a lot of boiling. The nice thing about making fruit butters is that you don't have to take off the peels, you don't have to take out the pits. You basically just boil them down until they're all mushy, and then you strain out all the stuff you don't want. So it should be an easy day. Yesterday was a lot of work. For right now, let's make some plum butter, which is basically like applesauce or jam. It's just plum flavored. So far as the jam and the jelly go, there is not much to explain. It was just a lot of boiling and a lot of adding sugar and a lot of mistakes. And I'm going to leave you to watch these montages because I don't have very much to say about this canning process. What? So I had an issue with the jelly. I didn't realize how much it was going to make this. I've got over 20 cups of jelly. We're going to have so much jelly. It is really delicious. I can't decide if I want to maybe put a few spices in it, make it a little more than just a sweet jelly. But yeah, I had to move it to a bigger stock pot because there was so much. I did not expect that. This was about 8 pounds. It didn't feel like a lot of plums, and really the plum butter that I'm making will probably only be 1 or 2 jars, maybe 2 jars. But the jelly, I'm a little worried. I might need more jars, and I have to buy more sugar. I had an entire 10-pound bag of sugar, and I've used up all of it today. So I'm gonna have to buy more sugar so I can process the rest of my fruit, and I think we're gonna have to get quite a lot. Good morning, it is day 3. It is day 3 of canning. Today I'm doing apple butter. I forgot about the apple butter yesterday, and it's been heating all night. But miraculously it's fine. I mean, it was on a very low setting with my crock pot, so it didn't burn or anything. Hopefully it doesn't taste burnt. But I'm doing apple butter, and then I have to process peaches. I am going to like cut up and freeze peaches as well. Especially if I'm making pie fillings, I will just cut those up and freeze them rather than jarring and canning them, because that's much easier to just dump into a pie and throw it in the oven. I also got some ice. I think the two problems I had on day one was that my water was not cold enough, and I wasn't boiling the peaches long enough to loosen the skins. And then also a lot of them were just not ripe enough. The riper the peach, the easier it is to peel. So I think given them a couple days, they've all gotten a little bit more ripe. And I think I will probably just have a few left over to leave out and, you know, eat when they get ripened. But that's what we're doing today. Also, I feel very Outlander in my outfit. I'm very like neutral cut. You can't see it, but I feel like Outlander today. So right now I'm going to process the applesauce, apple butter, which I am making instead of applesauce. A lot of people make applesauce. I prefer apple butter. It just has more flavor. You add spices to it. I think we will eat it more, and you can eat it just like applesauce, or you can spread it over toast or whatever else you want to do. So it's just a little bit more versatile, and yeah, let's get going.
I have to eat at the table first.
think that's going to be the end of this video. I am done processing almost all of the peaches. I still have this basket here to cut up and make pie filling, but for that I believe I'm just going to put in some sugar, flour, cinnamon, the regular things that you would put into pie filling, and then freeze it instead of can it. Originally I was going to try to can some pie filling, but I am out of jars. I bought more jars and I have completely used all of them, so I can't do anymore, and I think I'm going to end the video here because although I do still have all of the pears to process, it would be the same process as the peaches and the plums, so I don't want this video to be too long and repetitive. If you guys want to see what I do with the pears, let me know down below. But that's going to be it for this video. I have ended up with 12 jars of peach jam, 13 jars of peach jelly, and 15 jars of plum sauce. It didn't gel because I followed the wrong instructions and boiled it too long and it ruined the pectin. And I'm not going to remake it. You can redo your jelly if you need to. I'm not going to because we will use plum sauce more than we will use plum jelly. So I'm pretty happy with that. I also have, I think, 12 cans of canned peaches, and I have 2 jars of apple butter, and I have 2 jars of plum preserve. Don't forget to subscribe if you like my vibe. Stick around, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what your favorite part of the video was. If you have a favorite part of canning, let me know down below. If you are a canner, let me know down below. If you would like to support my channel in more ways than just liking and subscribing and commenting, you can always go down and check out my Ko-Fi link. I surely do appreciate all of the support. I hope that wherever you are feeling safe and loved. And until I see you again, have a beautiful day and thank you for watching. Bye!